How much did you pay attention to all of the debate among Roman Reigns and The Rock this weekend? Way there was just an outrage of everybody reacting to this, and I think it's I don't know. I like part of me is looking at it as
can we just have one calm weekend in combat sports?
No, that just does not happen. I think that there was some that were. I'm totally guessing here, but I'm imagining among a large amount of the fan base that many people were bummed last weekend with the Royal Rumble and coming off this awful news with Vince McMahon that I bet you it was almost somewhat cathartic to just have like some awful booking drama to get up in arms over, even though when we're talking about that in that context, like this seems like the silliest thing to be getting, like we're getting, I don't know. It's like, okay, we're either going to make like a ridiculous amount of money WrestleMania weekend, or we're going to make a stupid, ridiculous amount of money on WrestleMania weekend. These are the options that everyone is debating.
From the perspective of the WWE, I suppose, yeah, they win no matter what. But this is concerning the longest running, I guess, main event level story in professional wrestling right now. And I think the past weekend showed you exactly how passionate people are about Cody Rhodes specifically. I paid attention. Yeah, sorry.
Well, just watching tonight, like they had all the signs distributed. Like WWE is fully leaning in on all of this. And that first segment when Cody was out there, like you got the desired reaction. But man, this was not as though they kept this up throughout the whole night, or they were like going to hijack the show. Even like for the main event, like you would think like here is Cody Rhodes in this main event. Dude, that crowd was dead for this main event. It was like they got all their energy out in that first segment for the Cody stuff. And if you're watching this, like there was no protest, there was no demanding change. Could you imagine if Dwayne Johnson shows up? He's not getting any kind of negative reaction.
I wonder. Yeah, like The Rock is The Rock, and simply seeing him, especially in an unexpected setting, I think is enough to make people just like, celebrate his existence. But tonight, I wouldn't judge tonight's main event as any sort of indication of like how connected the audience is to the Cody Rhodes thing. I mean, I think tonight, as we will talk about it when we review Raw, tonight was kind of weird in that like they introduced the show almost giving you like sort of teasing you that we will get Cody's decision and Cody's explanation. And we didn't. And we just kind of carried on through the night with what I would suggest to be a pretty filler match for Cody Rhodes versus Shinsuke Nakamura that resulted in no resolution for anything. So I think that's why you didn't get any sort of reaction, because the crowd
they're saving everything for Thursday. Like
yeah, they know that this match means
we're expecting the WrestleMania main events to be confirmed on Thursday.
Yeah, and the result of Cody Rhodes versus Shinsuke Nakamura in a bull rope match does nothing to resolve the question that we all actually want to know the answer to.
So the interesting part in all of this is Dave Meltzer, and so in the SEC filing, we know that the agreement between WWE and Dwayne Johnson was filed, like that agreement was reached January 3rd. Dave Meltzer's reported that was when they knew that they were going ahead with Reigns and The Rock. I can't independently confirm that.
Now, who's they specifically?
Well, that was the now intended match for WrestleMania. Who knew? I can't tell you, but that was now. They had The Rock signed on for the match as of January 3rd.
Right. At least I think it's up for debate. I believe. I don't even want to misquote Dave, but it basically, from what I recall, it was suggested that a very, very small group of people knew, and that even creators.
It would have been a very small number, but you go with that theory is that they had The Rock locked in for this match, and the booking of the Royal Rumble makes this a very puzzling decision when you have Cody, who was in fact booked to win the Rumble as is, and then you do this angle on Friday. And I think at the heart of the matter is people that, I mean, this Rock Reigns match didn't just fall out of the sky. Everyone saw this as a possibility. My biggest contention was how that segment was structured on Friday, that I don't think they could have done a better job of minimizing Seth's title, making Cody, however you feel he came off in that segment, he looks like the ultimate martyr here. He is in fine standing with the company. He
now,
looks
do you think that was at all intentional?
I think that there was certainly the design. And
you think it was designed to make Cody look like a martyr and The Rock the bad guy?
I don't know if they expected it to this extent, but I do feel that they felt like Cody was not going to be hurt in this.
I wonder. I mean, I wonder personally too, because I don't think for a second they would just put The Rock out there as he's about to take part in a dream match at WrestleMania, and against the top heel in the company, and to decide to paint him in a heel light. I think that was a botch. I think that was a mistake. Whatever they're trying to do there, and this is Monday is them trying to course correct and trying to salvage the situation. But how could they have designed that segment without the feeling that the audience would turn on The Rock that way? And in the aftermath, because not that night, they did not turn on him on Friday.
I mean, you had a lot of options of how you could have gotten to this Rock Reigns match. Number one of which would have been simply having The Rock win the Rumble. If he can't go, if he can't do a match, even to do a 3-minute cameo in the Rumble, okay. I would have been having like somebody else win the Royal Rumble at that point. You could have gone with Punk, and then you had the out that he gets hurt, and then you have it's all up for
new
grabs.
Tournament. Yeah.
You also could have had I hated the idea that they came out and they flat out in that segment established like they're calling everything out loud about Seth's title is number 2 and how they get to this position.
So I didn't have as much of an issue with it because then you can argue that what Seth did on Monday and what Drew did tonight was devaluing The Rock's title. I just took it as like a, typical pro wrestler back and forth, between two rival champions.
But I think you're already fighting that perception. I mean, no one is arguing that Reigns is the number 2 belt in on all, like we know what the deal is. So I think when you're calling it out, and I just think Cody tonight, I think everyone wanted to hear this promo to kind of make sense of this, and you didn't get that promo.
You didn't get any promo.
Why would Cody not be choosing Roman Reigns? And you have to answer that question. And if it's not a satisfying one, like I feel there's enough of like it's the audience that is upset with the company that has not really happened in this Paul Levesque era, but it is one where I just think overall, I think this is like really like terrible storytelling, but it's one where they're almost completely idiot proof at this point when you've got matches of this level that you have, that I don't see there being a whole ton of damage done overall.
I think we need to see what Thursday result in. Like once we finally have the WrestleMania card, I think we can determine whether or not this was bad storytelling. We can definitely say Friday, if it was, everything proceeded from Friday as intended. Yes, we could call it bad storytelling. But I'm very curious to see what sort of course correction and what sort of pivot the WWE employs now that they know this very strong audience reaction. And they pretty much acknowledged it. And to me, like, tonight's episode of Raw was kind of inconsequential, except for the fact that they very much acknowledged the audience reaction. You even had Michael Cole at times say, I want to see Cody finish the story. I want to see him win the championship his dad never won. They would not be doing any of that unless they were intending on paying this off, or at least showing the audience that they were listening and that they will do something to satisfy the audience.
So how did they get there? What would be the way you do that? Like the winners face off night 2?
Yeah, that's been suggested. I can't see The Rock not being involved at this point. Like he's a part of the press conference. He's going to have that match with Roman Reigns. I can't see. I mean, they could pivot to a 3-way.
They can certainly babyface The Rock in terms of The Rock is the one that lays out this scenario that we're going to see the end of a story night 2 because if I beat Roman, I need to establish that I am still the great one, and I will. You could do that, and that baby faces The Rock, and that gives you that's one way to get there. It certainly is.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see what their options are and what they will do on Thursday, because come Thursday, if everything is as is right now, and the only matches we're getting are Cody versus Seth and Rock versus Roman, I think.
It's still going to be a massive WrestleMania, and it's still going to have
It's
60 plus thousand people in each night. Like I don't think this is some like, they're not so dependent on like this. Here's the other deal, okay? Of all of this, like let's just assume they've got one night with The Rock, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And had this been laid out, okay? Rock is going to do the match with Roman. We've already teased it. And let's say the match with Rock was going to happen in Saudi Arabia, or was going to happen at SummerSlam, or next year's WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
How are you booking Reigns and Cody this year at WrestleMania? Are you really having Roman lose before The Rock?
Yeah, I would. Because the title, the Rock is not challenging him for the championship. He's challenging him for the head of the table. And that doesn't require a championship.
See, I think you're not doing that match when you've done this 3.5-year undefeated streak and he hasn't lost a singles match, and you're going to do the Rock match without the title after a loss.
It's still big. It's still just as big.
So is this year's WrestleMania, but you're trying to make it like, what's the optimum promotion
you
for that
optimize
match?
By paying off the Cody story first and then going to the Rock match.
I don't think there would be a prayer that they would have Roman lose when they've got the Rock match in their back pocket for a later date.
Yeah, I just don't think it matters. Like, I think it's more important to have Cody win than it is for the Rock to lose and face Roman, or Roman losing to face the Rock. But we're probably getting a bit off course here.
Seth Rollins comes out and notes, sounds like a pretty good pop to me. And he brings up SmackDown and the crowd boos. And you can see the signs out there. They're all the "We Want Cody" signs that, you know, some intern went to the local Kinko's and just got a bunch of photocopies. I mean, really fine going out here for, what would you say? That's like Verdana. Size 22 font.
Yeah, maybe it's a sans serif. I mean, the intent was to make it look homemade, wasn't it? You know, they've done this in the past with the Cesaro section, I believe, like with the Yes movement, I suppose, as well. So,
you know what they really should have done for the true tie-in?
What's that?
Times New Roman.
Very good.
Times New Cody. I don't know. Part of this is also like, it is sort of that it's like the company is like, now,
is it uncool because your parents are into it now?
I didn't think this was cool over the weekend. Like, I honestly, I might be in the minority here, but when I was seeing, I know the "We Want Cody" is the hashtag they're pushing and stuff, yeah. But fans were really pushing the justice for Cody. And I'm sorry, but it's like, justice for anyone right now. And we're talking about a storyline. I just think it's in poor taste. Right. I think, quite honestly. So anyway, and then we got chants of "Rocky sucks." Cole asking if it's 1996 all over again. And then they moved to "We Want Cody." And this sounds like, okay, we're going to have a pretty like loud, vociferous crowd throughout the night that is protesting this pending main event. But it was really contained to these opening 15 minutes because Cody is called out and he comes out, big reaction for him. And Seth is stating, "I need this match with you as much as you do because I need to prove that I'm the best and I need to beat you, Cody, because you're the best." And so he wants to erase those 3 losses to him from 2 years ago. But before Cody can answer, Drew McIntyre interrupts and he says, "What happened, guys? I took out CM Punk and then you were supposed to face Rollins. But then Rollins, you got into his head," and points out the fact that Rollins points out that he is 2-0 against Drew. And then Drew brings up, "Well, you've lost to Cody 3 times. So anyway, this is Drew trying to get involved here. And it ends with a Glasgow kiss to Seth, who goes down. And then Cody fights off Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm. It felt to me like a segment that, you know, for one thing was to distract everybody from actually getting an answer from Cody until Thursday about what his selection was going to be. But what I got from it was the fact that it told us that the WWE was deliberately acknowledging the fan support for Cody Rhodes. It's maybe not like, you know, certain times in the past where they're just going to kind of like plow through it and just pretend it doesn't happen. They've learned. And I think, you know, especially Paul Levesque is smart enough to know that you can't just ignore something like this. Instead, they're using it to their advantage. And Cody walked out here and looked like a different level of star tonight. And he didn't even, well, all he did was give up his WrestleMania spot. So the martyrdom has completely worked, and they're amplifying it tenfold here, or doing their best to. So whether or not it's intentional or not, I still think it was unintentional, but they are rolling with it. But seeing them acknowledge it this hard, like, it has to indicate to me that they are planning on giving a satisfying result to the audience. And I don't know if this audience will be satisfied with anything but Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns.
Well, I think the difference with this era of the company is that, 10 years ago when we were talking about Bryan Danielson, I think your audience genuinely believed that they did not see this guy as a star. Whereas in this
WWE did, you mean?
WWE did not. I mean, it took a lot of convincing. And even when they put the title on him, I think there was like they already knew like the end date before Danielson got hurt. Now, this case, this audience is savvy enough. They all know that they see Cody as a star. And I think all of them know this guy is winning the title. It's just a matter of the date and the time that he will be winning.
Well, and which title?
Well, I think ultimately he is going to like the entire, like if there is one like log line to the entire WWE right now, it is this finish the story deal. Like he is winning this title, whether it is this year's WrestleMania, next year's WrestleMania, it's happening at some point. And I think the audience knows that. It's just they want it this year. I don't think it's a case of, they just don't see what the audience sees in Cody. I mean, this guy is completely booked as a top babyface.
I believe that there is, concern that they will use Seth's title as a substitute for Cody finishing his story. And like any title win at a WrestleMania will be enough to satisfy. Even though Cody did specifically state, "I want that championship."
Cody called out all of this last week in the promo.
Yes, but you can never bank on the future. A year from now, you have no idea if Cody Rhodes will still be just as hot. You have no idea who else will be hotter than Cody. And I think audiences.
I think last year beating him and seeing where he is this year, I think you would double down in that confidence if you're the company that listen. Even if the company was super confident last year, you have to imagine there was some doubt of, okay, if we beat Cody at Mania, what if we missed the peak? What if the timing was perfect last year and they gambled on it and it paid off? He stayed hot all year. He's hotter this year than he was last year. And maybe they just look at it that, hey, we gambled, we won, and we feel this guy's bulletproof. I'm sure this last year has only enforced, even if you were you had to at least be skeptical last year, even if you were there on this creative.
So then we go back and ask, was last year an actual gamble, or was it the whims of one person deciding to finish one night and not thinking that the Cody story needed finishing in sort of a exchange for Roman Reigns, your cash cow ending his title reign?
Yeah, I mean, regardless of the end call, I mean, you can ask, what was it the wrong call?
It depends, I guess, on the result this year, whether or not we're getting something. But all I'm saying is, you never know what can happen. You don't know who can get injured, John. Let's say okay, they wait for this thing for 3 years, and then the week before, Cody, I don't know, plants his foot wrong or something.
Dude, Dwayne Johnson training for this match, would be concerned. It's my main reason that I mean, the absolute scenario of the two match weekend, like there's no way Dwayne Johnson is the one doing those two matches.
Oh God, no. Well, The Rock is Cody versus Roman. Oh, sorry, the match is Cody versus Roman. Yeah,
that's it. So, I mean, they certainly have their options here, but yeah, an injury, like they have been snake bit this month when it comes to injuries, and like, dude, Dwayne has gotten hurt. Like that was the big thing with the Cena match. Like he got hurt really bad in that 2013 match. He got hurt both years. Yeah, and
if I'm The Rock,
got a real match since then.
If I'm The Rock, I'm not doing anything but DDP yoga from now until WrestleMania, making sure I'm not putting any impact on my joints. If I'm going to get hurt, let it be the night of, and hopefully not too bad.